The tire on your motorcycle right now, the one that came from the factory, the one the dealer sold you as the correct replacement, the one with the brand name you recognize from 60 years of marketing, that tire was not chosen because it was the best tire for your machine. It was chosen because it was the best tire for the manufacturer's profit margin, the dealer's service department revenue, and a warranty liability calculation that has nothing to do with keeping your head off the asphalt. I drive a 2000 Ford Ranger with 340,000 miles on it, paid cash. I do my own maintenance. I have pulled more tires off more motorcycles than I can count, and I have seen what the wrong tire does to a rider who trusted the wrong information. 11 tires and tire categories you should never put on your bike. And at the end, 5 that will actually protect you at speed in the conditions where your life depends on the rubber between you and the road. Let's count down. Number 11, the tire that came on your bike from the factory. This one is going to make some of you uncomfortable, but stay with me because the documentation is specific. When a motorcycle manufacturer selects a tire for a new model, they are not running independent safety tests and choosing the winner. They are negotiating a supply contract. The tire company that wins the OEM contract agrees to supply tires at a price that fits the manufacturer's cost structure. To hit that price, the tire company produces a version of their tire, sometimes using a similar model name as the retail version, that meets the minimum performance specification the manufacturer requires for warranty compliance. The documented reality is this: OEM motorcycle tires are frequently produced with reduced tread depth compared to the same model sold at retail. They often use a softer or simpler compound that improves initial ride feel, which matters during the test ride at the dealership, but wears faster under sustained real-world riding. One independent tire retailer documented the difference directly. The factory tire looks like the retail tire, carries the same brand name, but was not constructed with the same multi-layer compound technology or the same production tolerances as the tire you can buy over the counter. I have seen this pattern consistently. A rider brings in a bike with 8,000 miles on it. The factory tires are cooked. He replaces them with the retail version of the same brand from an independent shop. He gets 12 to 14,000 miles on the replacement set. Same brand name on the sidewall. Different tire. The tire you need to replace most urgently is the one that came on your bike from the factory, and the worst place to buy the replacement is the dealer who sold you the bike. Number 10, cheap Chinese no-name tires from online marketplaces. If you have ever searched for motorcycle tires on a major online marketplace and found a set priced at 30 to 40% below every name brand equivalent, you have found a tire that will kill you. I am not exaggerating. I am not being dramatic for the camera. The motorcycle tire safety standard in the United States, DOT compliance, requires that tires pass a series of load, speed, and endurance tests before they can be legally sold. A DU marking on a tire means it was submitted for testing. It does not mean it was tested on the specific production batch you received. It does not mean ongoing quality control. It does not mean the compound that was tested is the compound in the tire on your wheel. Independent testing of low-cost imported motorcycle tires has found inconsistency between samples from the same labeled batch, tread depth that measured below the specification printed on the sidewall, and carcass construction that failed at speeds well below the tire's stated speed rating. A rider I know personally bought a set of these tires for a touring bike. Within 3,000 miles, the rear tire developed a bulge in the sidewall. He caught it during a pre-ride inspection. If he had not caught it, if he had hit highway speed before noticing that bulge, the sidewall failure at speed would have been unsurvivable. The price difference between a no-name tire and a Michelin Road 6 is approximately $80 to $100 per tire. The consequences of choosing the cheaper tire are not $80 to $100 of consequences. They are catastrophic. There is no version of motorcycle riding where saving $80 on a tire is the correct financial decision. Number 9. Any tire more than 5 years old, regardless of tread depth. This one catches riders constantly because the tire looks fine. The tread is deep, the sidewall looks clean, there is no visible damage, and the tire is going to kill you. Motorcycle tire rubber oxidizes from the inside out. The process is driven by heat cycling, UV exposure, and the chemical reaction between the rubber compounds and atmospheric oxygen over time. By year 5, the compounds that give the tire its grip characteristics, the polymers that allow the rubber to deform against road surface irregularities and create the contact patch that keeps you upright, have degraded in ways that are invisible on inspection. The tire industry's own standard is 5 years from the manufacturing date for use, 10 years from the manufacturing date for maximum service. The manufacturing date is stamped on your tire right now in a 4-digit DOT code, the week and year of production. I have had riders come in for tire changes who did not know the manufacturing date code existed. They were riding on 8-year-old tires with plenty of tread remaining. On a motorcycle, riding on an 8-year-old tire with plenty of tread remaining is functionally the same as riding on a tire with no tread at all. The grip characteristics are gone. You just cannot see that they are gone until the moment you need them, and they are not there. Check your sidewall right now. Find the 4-digit DOT code. If the first 2 digits indicate a week past year 20 of the century, and the last 2 digits indicate a year before 2021, you are riding on tires that are approaching or past their service life. Change them before you ride again. Number 8. The Pirelli Angel GT at extended mileage. I want to be specific here because the Pirelli Angel GT is not a bad tire when it is new. The problem is what happens to it as it wears. Independent long-term tire testing, specifically the multi-season comparative testing done by Wood, which ran the Angel GT, Michelin Road 6, and Dunlop Roadsmart IV in controlled real-world conditions, documented that the Angel GT wore at a rate that was 77% faster than the Dunlop Roadsmart IV in the same conditions. That is not a minor difference. That is nearly double the wear rate. More importantly, the Angel GT uses a flat center tread design intended to increase contact surface area and reduce heat generation. What that design actually does in practice is make the tire resist turn-in at the transition from upright to lean. The test riders found that within 4 corners of mounting the Angel GT, the resistance to lean initiation was obvious and confidence undermining. Pirelli discontinued the Angel GT in the North American market. Its successor, the Angel GT2, was briefly available and then also removed from North American sale. The replacement for this tire in Pirelli's touring lineup is now the Angel GT3. If you are currently running the original Angel GT and approaching the point where the tread wear indicators are visible, do not replace them with the same tire. The independent test data suggests significantly better options exist at the same price point. Before we continue, the 2026 Motorcycle Buyer's Bible has the complete independent tire data, including compound ratings, real-world mileage documentation, and wet weather braking test results that the manufacturers do not publish. It tells you exactly what to look for on the sidewall, what the ratings mean, and which tires are worth the money and which are not. It launched at $97. Right now it is $9. Link in the description. Number 7. Mismatched front and rear tires from different manufacturers. This one is almost universally misunderstood, and the misunderstanding costs riders their lives. Every motorcycle tire pairing is engineered as a system. The front tire and rear tire are designed to work together in terms of profile geometry, compound characteristics, and the way they generate and distribute heat under cornering loads. The front tire's profile determines how the bike initiates a turn. The rear tire's profile determines how the bike tracks through the turn and exits. When those profiles are matched, same manufacturer, same model, same compound technology, the system works the way the engineers designed it. When you put a Michelin Road 6 on the front and a Dunlop Roadsmart IV on the rear, or any other mismatched combination, you are creating a handling characteristic that no engineer designed, that no test rider validated, and that you will discover for the first time at a moment of emergency avoidance or at the apex of a corner where the margin for error is already zero. I understand the temptation. You wear out the rear faster than the front. The front has half the tread remaining. You buy a new rear from the brand that had the best deal this week. The result is a tire system that is predictable until it is not, and the moment it becomes unpredictable will be a moment when you need it to be exactly predictable. Match your front and rear tires. Always. Without exception. Number 6, the dealer's OEM replacement at OEM prices. When your factory tires wear out and you take your bike back to the dealer for replacements, the dealer will sell you the OEM replacement tire at a price that is 15 to 30% above what you would pay for a better tire at an independent shop or online retailer. The mechanism is straightforward. The dealer has a manufacturer relationship that includes preferred parts and tire pricing. The service advisor recommends the OEM replacement because it is in the parts inventory, because the markup is higher than aftermarket alternatives, and because recommending the exact replacement requires no knowledge of comparative tire performance. What you are paying for is not better performance. We have already established that OEM tires perform below their retail equivalents in most real-world longevity testing. What you are paying for is the convenience of not doing 10 minutes of research into what the independent data shows about better alternatives at the same price or lower. The same tire, or a demonstrably better tire, is available from an independent shop or an online retailer at a meaningfully lower price. The labor cost for mounting is the same. The result for your riding is the same or better. The only thing that changes is the margin going to the dealer's service department. Number 5, any tire inflated to the pressure printed on the tire sidewall. The pressure number on the tire sidewall is the maximum cold inflation pressure the tire is designed to contain without structural failure. It is not the recommended operating pressure for your motorcycle. It is not the pressure that produces optimal contact patch, handling, or longevity for your specific machine. The correct tire pressure for your motorcycle is in your owner's manual and on a placard on the bike itself, and it is almost always significantly lower than the number on the sidewall. On a typical sport touring motorcycle, the recommended pressure is between 36 and 42 psi. The maximum pressure stamped on the sidewall of a high-performance motorcycle tire is typically 50 to 60 psi. A rider who inflates to the sidewall maximum is riding on a tire that is overinflated for their machine. Overinflation reduces the contact patch, the area of rubber actually touching the road, which reduces grip in direct proportion to the reduction in contact area. It makes the tire more susceptible to impact damage because the carcass has no flex to absorb road irregularities. And it produces a wear pattern that destroys the center of the tire while leaving the shoulders with apparent tread remaining, meaning you can ride a tire past its safe service life while the tread depth gauge still shows acceptable readings. Check your owner's manual. Inflate to the specification for your machine, your load, and your speed conditions, not to the maximum on the sidewall. Number 4, track compound tires on public roads. The fastest motorcycle tires in the world are the worst tires for the roads you actually ride on and the conditions you actually ride in. Race compound motorcycle tires, the hypersport category, including full slicks and DOT legal competition tires like the Pirelli Diablo Super Corsa SP, are designed for track operation. They require heat to generate grip. They require the sustained elevated surface temperatures of continuous high-speed cornering to activate the compounds that produce their handling characteristics. On a public road in typical riding conditions, a competition tire never reaches operating temperature. You are riding on rubber that is chemically and mechanically designed to operate at temperatures your real-world riding will never produce. The result is a tire that handles worse in wet conditions, significantly worse, with braking distances in wet that can be double those of a properly rated sport touring tire that wears faster because the soft compound degrades rapidly at road surface temperatures, and that provides less grip than a properly rated touring tire because neither the tire nor the asphalt is at the temperature the tire was designed for. The rider who puts Pirelli Super Corsas on a street bike because the same compound won at Mugello is making a decision that is specifically wrong for every condition of their actual riding. Buy the track tire for the track. Buy the road tire for the road. The engineering is not interchangeable. Number 3, the Dunlop D402 and D407 at high mileage on heavy bikes. I want to be precise about this one because the Dunlop D402 and D407 are not bad tires at the beginning of their service life. They are the factory OEM tire on many Harley-Davidson touring models. They handle the weight. They absorb the highway miles in the early thousands adequately. The problem is what they do past the midpoint of their tread life. Riders consistently report that both the D402 and D407 develop a cupping pattern, an uneven wear across the contact surface that produces rhythmic vibration at highway speed. The cupping is not a tire defect in the traditional sense. It is a known characteristic of the compound and construction at load. Multiple independent rider forums document it. The law-abiding biker comparison between the D402 and the Michelin Commander III found that while the Dunlop performs well when fresh, the Michelin outlasts it in real-world touring conditions while maintaining consistent handling characteristics through its wear life. A rider on a Road King or Ultra Classic who runs D402s to the tread wear indicator will experience the last 2,000 to 3,000 miles of that tire's life as increasingly uncomfortable vibration that they often attribute to wheel balance or suspension rather than tire wear pattern. The tire is not worn out by tread depth. It is worn out by compound cupping that the tread depth gauge cannot measure. If you are running D402 or D407 tires on a Harley touring model, replace them at 60 to 70% of the tread life rather than running them to the wear indicator. The last 30% of tread depth on these specific tires is not 30% of the tire's useful grip life. Number 2, tires with improper load rating for your machine and riding style. Every motorcycle tire has a load index, a number that corresponds to the maximum weight the tire is designed to carry at its rated speed. That number is stamped on the sidewall next to the speed rating letter. Most riders have never looked at it. On a solo sport bike, the load rating is rarely an issue. On a touring motorcycle with luggage, a passenger, camping gear, and tools, the load rating becomes a life safety specification. A tire that is underrated for the actual load it is carrying at highway speed will run hotter than its compounds were designed for. Elevated tire temperature beyond the design range degrades the rubber compounds in ways that are cumulative and invisible until catastrophic failure. The calculation is straightforward. Add your bike's wet weight to the combined weight of rider, passenger, gear, and luggage. Divide by 2 for a rough per tire estimate, and compare to the load index specification of the tires you are running. If you are within 10% of the maximum load rating with a fully loaded touring setup, you need a tire with a higher load rating. A 2-up touring rider who bought his tires solo and loaded up for a 2-week trip without rechecking the load specification is riding outside the design envelope of his tires. The tire manufacturer's warranty does not cover failures that occur when the tire is operated outside its rated load. Number 1. The tire your dealer recommends without asking how and where you ride. This is the most dangerous tire recommendation in motorcycling. Not because the tire is necessarily bad, because the recommendation is made without the information required to make it. When a service advisor or dealer parts counterperson recommends a tire replacement, they are working from a parts database that shows what fits your bike. They are recommending the OEM replacement or the house brand because those are the tires in their inventory with the margin structure that works for the service department. They do not know how many miles you ride per year. They do not know whether you ride primarily in wet weather or dry. They do not know whether you carry a passenger and gear or ride solo. They do not know whether your riding is highway touring, canyon carving, daily commuting, or some combination of all three. Those variables determine which tire is actually correct for your machine and your riding. A Michelin Road 6 is the right tire for a rider who covers high mileage and variable weather. A Dunlop Roadsmart IV is the right tire for a rider who prioritizes handling precision and rides primarily in dry conditions. A Michelin Commander III is the right tire for a heavy cruiser rider who tours with a passenger and luggage. A Pirelli Diablo Rosso 4 is the right tire for a sport rider who keeps the machine primarily to dry canyon roads. None of those recommendations can be made without knowing the rider, and the dealer's service advisor does not know the rider. He knows the parts number. The most dangerous tire on your motorcycle is the one that was chosen for someone else's riding. Make your tire decision based on your specific conditions, your specific mileage, and your specific load requirements. The data to make that decision correctly exists and is accessible, which brings us to the 5 tires that the independent data actually supports. The reason I can give you this information is that I sourced it from independent tests rather than manufacturer data. The 2026 Motorcycle Buyer's Bible covers exactly this. Not what the manufacturers say about their tires, but what independent testing over multiple seasons of real-world riding actually shows. Mileage, wet weather braking distance, wear pattern documentation, load rating guidance. All of it in one place. It was $97. Now it is $9. Link in the description. The 5 tires that actually protect you. Number 5. Bridgestone Battle Axe T32. The T32 is Bridgestone's sport touring offering, and it sits at the intersection of longevity and all-weather capability. Real-world mileage reports consistently show 10,000 to 12,000 miles on the rear under mixed highway and canyon conditions. The wet weather performance, rated through Bridgestone's proprietary rain groove technology, is competitive with Michelin and third-party braking distance tests, independent and family-owned. Bridgestone is publicly traded on the Tokyo Stock Exchange and has maintained its engineering investment in motorcycle tires as a core product line rather than treating it as a commodity. Affiliate link in the description. Number 4. Continental RoadAttack 4. Continental's sport touring tire is one of the most underrated tires in the American market because Continental's motorcycle tire marketing in the US is significantly less visible than Michelin or Dunlop. The tire itself is excellent. The dual compound construction, harder center for longevity, softer shoulder compound for cornering grip, is among the most efficiently engineered in the sport touring category. Continental is German engineered, publicly traded, and independent of the private equity consolidation that has affected other tire manufacturers. Real-world mileage reports show consistent results in the 10 to 13,000 mile range on rear tires under typical touring conditions. Affiliate link in the description. Number 3. Michelin Commander III. If you are riding a heavy cruiser, any Harley-Davidson touring model, a Honda Goldwing, a Yamaha Star Venture, the Commander III is the correct tire for your machine and your conditions. The documentation is straightforward. Riders who switched from OEM Dunlop American Elite tires to the Michelin Commander III on Road Kings and Ultra Classics consistently report rear tire mileage in the 15,000 to 19,000 miles range compared to 10,000 to 12,000 miles on the Dunlop. The difference is the Commander III's heavier duty carcass construction. Michelin uses aramid fiber, a generic version of Kevlar, which handles sustained load better than the Dunlop's construction under heavy touring conditions. Michelin is publicly traded on the French Stock Exchange. Family founded in 1889, still engineering driven. Affiliate link in the description. String number 1. Michelin Road 6. The Michelin Road 6 is the best all-around motorcycle tire available in the sport touring category for riders who cover significant mileage in variable conditions. Independent data is consistent across multiple sources. The Road 6 outlasted the Dunlop Roadsmart IV by 5% in the road dirt test. It maintains wet weather grip deeper into its tread life than any other tire in the category, and Michelin's water evergrip technology and dense sight pattern continue functioning effectively as the tread wears, unlike some competitors who lose wet weather performance as the depth decreases. Real-world mileage reports from touring riders in mixed conditions consistently show rear tire life in the 10 to 14,000 mile range. The wet weather braking advantage is the decisive factor. If there is one condition where you cannot afford your tire to be the limiting factor, it is a wet road emergency stop. The Road 6 is the tire that gives you the most margin in that situation. Michelin is a French company founded in 1889. It is publicly traded, not private equity owned, and continues making the best motorcycle tires in its class by independent measurement. Affiliate link in the description.